Hello, Vero.
Hello,
Yes, nice to see you. Thank you for joining.
and
And
thank you for the course.
we've got Jan Johnson and Jenny BD. Jenny, for the moment, if you want to unmute, um, just to say hello, we can have an informal way to start. Hello, Jenny. You can turn on your microphone if you like, or
Yes, thank you. Yep, good
all
morning.
right. All right. And Jan.
Hiya.
Hi, Jan. Hi.
Hiya.
Yeah, well, this is all very new for us. Normally, I'm a participant with all the Zoom courses, and this is actually the first time that we're running a Zoom one at all. So we'll give it a couple more minutes, I think. But it's 10 o'clock now, so welcome everybody. We can start in an informal way, just to begin with. If we want to just do some sharing between all of us. Jenny, would you like to give us an idea of what was your thinking about joining the course today?
Yes, fine. I suppose the real motivation is that my sleep is pretty erratic. Even though I feel I've dealt with all the sorts of things that might likely keep me awake. So my conclusion is maybe there's an element of menopause in there, which is now some years ago, but that's, with hindsight, is when the problem starts.
Right.
So I wake several times a night and sometimes go back to sleep, sometimes not. So it just makes life really difficult to plan, because if I've had a few bad nights, I just really am not safe to do much.
Right. And how long have you been suffering with the sleep problem for?
Seriously, in a way that is incapacitating, about 10 years.
Oh wow, that's quite a long time.
It certainly is.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been taking anything for it, or any medication or anything?
I do take circadian, so melatonin.
Right.
I have tried various of the prescription drugs for sleeping, but all they really do is give me a hangover without giving me any much more sleep, never mind quality sleep. So I largely abandoned those. Well, I did completely abandon them, and I'm not tempted to go back to them.
No, we when we were running a health radio station, health program on community radio in Cambridge, we had a professor that I think he was of pharmacology, and he used to work in the pharmacology area for like 20 years. And then he was a lecturer at Anglia Ruskin, I think. And he said to me after the program, John, there are no side effects with medication, you know. And I said, you're saying there's no side effects when you're taking drugs, prescribed drugs? And he said, absolutely not. No, there's no side effects at all.
Many of us would not agree.
I didn't understand what he was getting at, and he said, there are only effects. There are no side effects, there are only effects. So that was his bit of a joke there, because I guess what he's saying is that if you take medication, there will be side effects.
Yes.
It's not a maybe.
It's great that he acknowledges that, because a lot of people don't.
Well, he was out of the industry. That's probably why he did that.
Yeah.
If he was being paid by one of the large pharmaceutical companies, I'd imagine that he'd have a different story. Or if he was working for the NHS as well, he'd have a different story.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. We'll we'll do our best to help you
Thank you.
through these 5 days. Jan, would you like to share a little bit?
Well, I'm probably a little bit of a fraud, really, because to be fair, I don't suffer from any sleep problems at all. My mum does, and I was just really interested in what you had to say, really.
Okay.
So whether I'm in the right place or not, I don't know.
So it's something that if you find, you might find something that you might be able to help your mum with.
Well, that's what I was wondering, yes.
How old is she?
93.
Oh, that's a good age. She's still going. That's good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
does she have a bad sleep every night?
She tends not to sleep very well, but yeah, she's obviously sitting a lot in the day anyway. So I don't know. She's complained of not sleeping well for quite a long time, though. I think she wakes up and then can't get back to sleep.
Right. Well, I'm sure that there'll be a few helpful hints that might come from the course. And you know, hopefully there might be a light bulb moment for you at some stage.
Right.
But you know, but I guess it'll be more like if you absorb the whole course, which is 10 hours, 2 hours a day. It could be at the very last day that you might get the light bulb flash in your mind going, that's what it is, or let's see if we can try this idea with her.
Right, okay.
And then it would be worthwhile. But having the knowledge would definitely be good for you to have on hand, because if you're okay with your sleep, what happens usually with just us human beings is that we like to always look at the fault, or always kick ourselves when we have a failure. But very rarely do we analyze our success and what we're doing right. You see?
Right. Okay.
So what I'm saying is that you might find in the course that there's a lot of things that we're saying that you're naturally doing.
Okay. Yeah.
And there could be some things in the course that you're doing without even knowing you're doing them. You know, and if you just keep nodding your head saying, "Oh, I do that," or "I know that," it might be a good idea to write it down, because sometimes in life there is a big change, a big movement, like something quite large happens. You know, it could be something dramatic or something emotional or something in business terms or family, and it could put you off center.
Right. Okay.
And when you go off center, you might find that the sleep gets affected, and then you're thinking, hang on a minute, I was really good at sleep for all my life, and now I've got this problem. You know, where's it come from? But
is it a problem that gets worse as you get older?
Yes, it could be that way as well.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, look, you're welcome, and if you can find anything in the course that will help your mum, that'd be fantastic.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Yeah. And hello, Vera. Maybe we need to turn your microphone on.
Oh.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Well, I think I always had sleep problems. A very good night for me would be 5 hours of sleep. That'd be wonderful. I have a hard time falling asleep. I think even as a child, I think my circadian cycle was different or wrong, and because I had to get up to go to school and everything, it became really messed up. So even as a child, I didn't sleep well. I remember going to sleep over and seeing people sleeping around me and saying, wow, everyone is sleeping. Then it was manageable, but then it became really worse when I was 40. I had cancer, and that really made things much worse. And I guess it stayed really bad since then. So it's been at least 20 years of really bad sleep. I tried absolutely everything. I got sleeping pills. I mean, my GP said, you need to sleep, it's better to have that, but I keep trying to get out of them. I tried CBT. I'm used to not sleeping, so I'm not like panicking. And so, but yeah, I'd like to try something.
Sure. And how old were you when your sleeping problem started? How old were you as a child?
Well, my mom said that even as a baby, I would sleep during the day and be wide awake all night long, and she would try to put lights on me. And so I don't know if it does exist, that some people have a cycle it's a bit different. But when I was a child, I was a bit tired, but it was okay. I still slept, but no, I mean, I have many nights when I just a couple of hours and not even next to each other. I have 1 hour there, an hour there. And when I'm sleeping, I'm still kind of aware. If someone talks next to me when I think I'm sleeping, I still hear it. So it's even when I sleep, it's never really deep.
Right. Okay. Well, we might be able to open up the subject a little bit so that you can understand a little bit more about the brainwaves.
Yeah.
The whole idea of us calling it speed sleeping is I found when I was learning how to meditate, I was taught transcendental meditation, and they showed a lot about the brainwaves before it started, they taught us, and they showed how the brainwaves start to slow down as you meditate, and the idea is to get into a very deep delta brainwave state.
Right.
And that only takes, sometimes it's just only for a few seconds, and you never know you're in that state until you wake up afterwards and you're disorientated. So the aim of the course is to get you to understand about the different blocks, for you to understand what the aim of the program is, and for you to understand where your aim is in getting a deep, good quality sleep. It's a funny situation where you know the case of the doctor that smokes cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know, the doctor gives the advice to everybody that smoking is bad for you, and then he goes off and smokes a cigarette himself. Have you ever seen that situation?
Yeah. Yes.
It's sort of like they feel like they are above the world, like they are because they understand how it all works. It doesn't affect them. So I guess in some ways I'm like the doctor when it comes to the alpha music, because I think because I've composed it, I'm above it, so I don't need it. And I found that when I was in Ireland once, traveling around in a car, sort of supplying CDs to the health food shops, I was not getting too much sleep, and I discovered that an album called Silence of Vision, which we will be using, I think, on the last day of the course, got me into a very deep meditative state. In fact, I found that it got me into a delta state. And I'll go through this so you don't have to try and remember it all right now, but the brainwaves went right down to a very deep state. And just for 20 minutes, I was in such a deep state. When I woke up, I felt quite refreshed, as if I had 3 hours of sleep. That's hence the reason why we're saying about getting 3 hours of sleep in 20 minutes. If you can get 20 minutes of delta sleep, it can be the equivalent of up to 3 hours of normal sleep. The thing that you have to be very careful of, if you're able to learn this technique in these 5 days, is that you've got to wake up very carefully, and you have to actually get some exercise or wash your face and really make sure that you wake up before you drive the car or
Yeah.
you do anything before you do anything logical or sensible. Because what I found was that I didn't do that. I woke up and then just carried on working, and I went to the car to get something out of the car was just parked in front of the shop, and then when I went back to the car, I saw that my bag was on the seat, and the car was not only unlocked, but the door was open. So I woke up so quickly from this delta sleep that I didn't actually wake up properly. So I was still in a half dreamy world when I woke up. So it's very important to understand that if you do achieve this deep delta state, then you do have to properly wake up before you do things. Otherwise, you might do silly things like what I did. Normally, you don't have to worry about this particular challenge, because in a normal sleep of 8 hours, you've got your circadian rhythms, where at some stage of the sleep you hear, and you're very cognizant. Just even a light sound will wake you up, and when you get into a very deep, I hear somebody's telephone, so it's good now for us to mute the microphones unless you want to ask a specific question, just so that we can cut the background noises. With normal sleep, if you don't have an alarm clock waking you up, but you wake up gradually, then your brain waves go from a deep state right up to a normal state. So you've got time to gradually wake up and to get into the real world. So what we'll do is we'll start the PowerPoint, and we've also got the chat box open as well. So if you've got anything you want to share with the group, then you use the everyone button, which should be on now. But if you want to ask a private question to me, then you just select John, and you can write something directly to me, and I can write directly back to you. Okay. So welcome everybody. The course is the same time every day between 10 and 11. We do the seminar part, and then we do a practice for the second part. Okay. So if you do want to practice, then I'm very happy for you to be in your pajamas during the course, no problem. There's a special gift, by the way, for the people that succeed in doing the 5-day seminar with us. We will be giving you a sleep journal, which we've created, which is a 30-day plan, where the aim of the sleep journal is that every night every day you write down how your sleep has been, and the various different factors that have been surrounding the day, and surrounding the sleep. And we've got little codes, and we can go over that. The sleep journal we will be giving that as a free gift, along with a 1-hour Zoom call, just to explain how to use the sleep journal. Okay. Well, we've already started to ask ourselves about what are your specific problems about, and how it's affecting you with lack of sleep. And I think we've covered some of that already as well. And just from our talk, probably most of you, except for Jan, of course, Jan has probably got a list which says no, 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 no. But perhaps you can start ticking off yeses for your mother. Okay. Yes, I can answer that question. That's from Jenny. Meg will be recording the programs. So if you're going to miss out on one, then just contact her by email and arrange when she can send the program to you. It's not going.
Can I say something?
Sorry?
Can I say something?
Yes, Meg.
Okay, so after the course, I will create all the videos, and everybody who is registered to the course will get the link, and you will be able to watch this again when you have your spare time. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Meg. And the other thing is that it's going to be a private one, so it's not going to be released on YouTube for the public. It's just for the participants. Okay, right. We've already done our sharing, so we'll move to the next slide. So the aim of this program is for you to aim at Delta, to understand what Delta is and to understand how to get into Delta. I think I think Vero was talking about, well, I think for everybody, it's a matter of if we can focus in on what Delta is and how to achieve it, that would help a lot. It also might change the way we think a little bit too, because I'm not professing at all that we should be awake 22 hours a day and just take advantage of going into Delta for 1 or 2 hours to make up the 8 hours of sleep. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, yes, you should get your normal 6 to 8 hours of quality sleep, and within that period of time to get into a quality Delta state in a rhythmic way. But as I can hear from 1 or 2 of you, you're not actually reaching that Delta state when you're sleeping. I know that with the baby sleeping, that I was quite surprised that when we had a babysitter and my first set of babies, they were twins, as soon as they went to sleep, within about half an hour of them going to sleep, she would walk into the room and turn the light on and do a whole lot of things. And I couldn't believe that she could do that and the babies wouldn't wake up. But they did not wake up, okay? And I guess it's because she understood about the circadian rhythms, that within a certain period of time after they went to sleep, go into a very deep sleep and they don't hear anything. But in another part of the cycle, if you were to walk into the room and crinkle even a little bit of cellophane plastic or something, they'd immediately wake up. So at different parts of the cycle, you're very close to waking up and you can hear everything around you. And that's a very light sleep. So the aim is to understand delta and to get into delta. If we can understand that and put our energies into getting good quality delta sleep, then and achieve that, then the program is a success. So that's the target. The target's delta. Now, as you see, there's a racing course, and there are different color blocks on the road. Now, we have to look at these blocks and clear the track so that we can race to delta. And so we do need to spend a bit of time on the blocks and to see how we can eradicate as many as possible, or to manage as many as possible. So what are the blocks? How do we prepare for delta, and how do we switch on delta, and how can alpha music help, which we'll get into as well. Just out of interest on this point, have any of you heard or listened to my alpha music at all? Pam, hello Pam. Do you want to say something?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Pam, would you like to say hello?
I used your alpha music for massage. When I had massage, I used to massage, and I used to use your alpha music for that.
Oh, okay, great. So,
which is how I came to find out about you, I suppose.
Okay, that's the connection.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Which one were you using out of interest?
Well, I think I've probably got most of them, to be fair. Without looking at them, I can't remember which one I used the most.
Oh, not to worry. It sounds like you've been using it for a few years.
Yeah, I've not used them recently because I've not been working recently, but I did used to use them, yeah.
Oh, good. That's nice to know. And anyone else on the?
Yes, I bought the CDs.
Is that Brett? No. Pam, David?
David, that's correct. Yes, yes, indeed. Sorry, I'm messing about with this camera.
That's all right.
Yes, I've got one or two of the CDs. I must admit, I'm not sure where they are at the moment, but you know, they are very relaxing.
Right. So you've got some of it. Oh, that's good. That's great. Thanks. Is your name David or Pam or?
No, sorry, it's David. Pam's my wife.
Oh, okay, fine. Thanks, David. And anyone else?
Yes, I also have. I have 3 of them, and in fact, I don't find they necessarily help me sleep, but what they do is take my mind off not sleeping. And sometimes when I get to the end of one of them, I think, oh, I've missed a bit. So although I don't feel that I've been asleep, it confirms to me that I have, which, even though it obviously wasn't a deep sleep, it's just reassuring to get up in the morning thinking, I did sleep, I know I slept, even though it may not feel like it.
Jenny, that's an interesting point, because when I was taught transcendental meditation, they said that the aim of your meditation is to get into a delta state, and I asked, well, how do you know when you're in a delta state? And they said, you don't know when you're in a delta state. You only know when you're in a delta state after you come out of delta.
Well, maybe it's working.
well, you see, there might be things that you're doing that you don't know you're doing well.
Well, it's also the case. I quite often, if I'm awake for a long time in the night,
Yeah.
and I think I've done a meditation, I've read a book, I've done this, I've done that. I'll put the radio on, and I have the same experience there. I know I've slept because I've missed bits.
Yes.
So it might be fragmented sleep, but it's great to know that I have actually had some sleep.
Well, the delta that we're talking about at the transcendental meditation, they were showing the graphs, and it's little bits of delta. Like they're saying that you could be in delta for just half a second or 1 second, and you don't know that you've been in delta until you come out of delta, and then you go, well, where was I, or what happened, or what's the time, or did I miss something, or whatever, and in that period of time, it's timeless because you've got no idea what's going on. And that 1 second could have been an hour or 2 hours, or could have been a day. You just don't know. So it could be that you're getting into small bits of delta without knowing about it.
Yeah, I'm certainly doing something.
Yeah. So the idea is if you can discover what
get up.
if you can discover what you're doing as those little somethings, and if you start aiming at those little somethings and join them together, then you could end up starting to get more and more better quality sleep. You see?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's interesting. Does anyone else want to share about listening to any of the music? I'd just like to know who's actually. There's someone that's called 361568. Well, I can't hear anybody, but there's no noise coming from that person. Okay, well, we'll carry on. If I'd recommend, if you would, if you'd like to get the book that I've written with huge help from Meg, who's done all my research. Why Can't I Sleep? We're happy to give it at a very special price today. Normally it's $7.99 as an ebook, and today we can offer it at $3.99. Meg, would you be able to put the link on the chat, please? Oh, Vera is asking, is this music the same as binaural? The quick answer is no, it's not. And I will give a longer explanation of what binaural is and how it's different from what we do. It was interesting because when I first composed Silence at Peace Volume 1, which is, I think, what you might be listening to a little bit in the background as I'm talking. I read a book about binaural music, and I thought, well, they've invented everything and they've done it all, so I don't know why I should bother. But thinking about it for a few more minutes, I realized that the philosophy between what I'm doing and what binaural is doing is completely opposite to each other. And I will go into more detail later about it. I guess my philosophy is more of a Eastern philosophy, which is where everybody's got their own brainwaves, and the aim of the music is to settle down each individual person with their own brainwaves in their own way. So there's no sort of force involved. Meg has put up on the chat a link. So if you would like to get the book, I'd recommend it because we go into a lot of detail about brainwaves, but also a lot of detail about the blocks that can happen that prevent you from getting a decent night's sleep. We've had very good, wonderful people that have contributed to the book, including a pharmacist that actually lifted the can off what hypnotics were all about, which is what they call sleeping tablets. And also we had Patrick Alford that has contributed to the book as well. And he has written over 30 books, I think, maybe even more. And in some of the books, he actually mentions about myself and Alpha Music and uses it and recommends it. So it's a special offer. You're welcome to take advantage of that. So what is delta exactly? It's a low frequency brainwave that can be measured on an electroencephalogram machine, EEG. And here we can go through the brainwaves. I've just got to keep moving my chats around so I can read my own notes. There are more than just 4 categories of brainwaves. There is a lot more, but these are the ones that are the most interesting when we're studying sleep. Beta is between 14 and 30 hertz, or HZ is hertz, which is the same as cycles per second. Alpha is between 8 and 14, theta is between 4 and 8, and the ones that we're interested in is the slowest ones, which are between half a cycle per second and 4 cycles per second. So let's go through them. Beta is called the fight or flight response type of brainwave, which is basically when you're stressed, or when you're having to fight the tiger or run away from a fire or something, you naturally get into that state, the beta state. The beta state relates to certain hormones that will allow the heart rate to increase, the blood pressure increases, and puts more oxygen and blood into the muscles, so that you can run away from or to get the strength to break open a door and rescue somebody that's inside that's trapped from a fire or whatever. The problem that we have in today's life is that we've got just thoughts about what might happen in the future could be enough to get us into a beta state. The newspapers and the news, television, and all the rest of it. The media is always aimed to try and get us into a fearful state, because they know that that's what sells their programs and sells their newspapers. Unfortunately, it's not a very healthy state to be in around the clock, 5 days a week, 24 hours around the clock. And this state can easily prevent you from going to sleep because it elicits certain types of hormones in the bloodstream, such as adrenaline. And with those hormones going through your body, you don't want to fall asleep when you're just about to be attacked by a tiger or the psychological tiger. So one key to think about is if you can't get to sleep, what's actually going around in your bloodstream and how did it get there? Food and drinks, and certain types of foods and certain types of drinks, and that's written and listed in the book, will get you into a beta state. And certain thoughts and certain actions will also get you into a beta state. Even watching a movie can get your heart pumping, and it's not like a switch with hormones in your body. It takes time for the hormones to peter out and to get changed and absorbed before you can move into a lower brainwave state. So when we're awake, the best state to be in is what we call the alpha state. We're still awake, the frequencies are lower, and I think the psychologists call it the rest and the digest state. This is the best state to study, and this is the best state to eat your food. If you eat your food when you're in a panic situation or in a beta state, then it doesn't do well for your digestion and can lead to digestive problems. Okay. If you've got any questions, I'm happy for you to ask them by just interrupting me. I'm happy for that. Or if you want to, you can put questions on the chat. Okay. But I always thought when I was meditating that it was a waste of time because I had so much to do. I'd rather just keep enjoying myself, because I was in about half a dozen different bands, from rock bands to jazz bands. I was doing a degree in music composition, and I was having a ball, and in some ways sleep was getting in the way. And having to meditate twice a day, which is what I was taught, I was thinking, my God, I'm sitting down, closing my eyes for 20 minutes twice a day, and I could be doing something, you know. And there was a chap in India that wanted to be an agent of mine for Alpha Music, and we're having a nice chat. And I said, well, why do you like my music? I mean, I studied ethnomusicology, and you know, Indian music is just amazing. It you know, I feel like a baby compared to your music. And he said, well, we just like different things. We're a little bit bored with our own music. And I said, well, I don't know why you need it anyway, because you know, in India, this is one of the homes of meditation. You've actually, you know, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi came from India, so you have masters around the world that know about this subject. And he said, I said, so you know, why do you need to use Alpha Music to get into a meditation? You're meditating twice a day. And then he laughed at me and he said, you know, he said, John, you're living in a fantasy world. He said, in India, the husband and wife both have to work. We have to pay the mortgage. We have to put food on the table. We're working from day to night. And you know, everyone's busy. It's a very busy life. And I said, so how do you manage to stay calm and relaxed? And he said, well, it's very simple. We meditate whilst we're working. We're working whilst we meditate. And I thought that was a very good answer, because I was thinking, if you could actually be in an alpha brainwave state and know that you can be in a low alpha brainwave state, then you're actually in a light meditative state whilst you're actually working. So you're getting the best of both worlds at the same time. And it allows you to think, it allows you to concentrate, it allows you to remember what you are, you know, when you're studying. And it allows you to eat food and digest it properly. So it is a very good state to be in. Now, the next state is called theta state. And this is the dream state where you're just starting to lightly meditate. The alpha theta state, which is the psychologists and the hypnotherapists call it the hypnagogic state. It's the frequencies that are in between theta and alpha. So if we move the screen so I can see my own writing, you can see that theta is between 4 and 8. And if we go back a slide, we see that alpha is between 8 and 14. So if one was to go into a low alpha high theta state, which is about 8 cycles per second, you enter into a hypnagogic state. And that is the state where hypnotherapists do their best work to program or to help you reprogram your mind. And you can use that state for many good things. In fact, when I compose my alpha music, I go into a deep meditative state as low as I can go whilst still keeping my hands moving. So I actually play the music once. Some people call it channeling, where I will play the music whilst I'm in a meditative state. And I find that this is the only state that I can use to actually create this music. Now, delta is where we're aiming at again, as what we spoke about. And as you can see, this is the lowest frequencies. And the interesting thing is that joining the dots, and I think maybe that's getting closer to that, which is I realized very on that if the meditation teachers are telling me about the deep delta state which is the ultimate to get into when you're meditating, which will give you the greatest amount of rejuvenation of the body, and then the scientists are saying that it's good to have a deep sleep where you can get into a delta state. I'm starting to realize that we're talking about the same thing. It's joining up the dots. So there are different stages of sleep, which go from 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the rapid eye movement sleep. So the cycle usually takes between 90 and 110 minutes. So we'll go into a little bit more detail. Stage 1 is a light sleep, where you drift in and out of sleep and can be awoken easily. Stage 2, the eye movement stops and the brain waves become slow with only an occasional burst of rapid brain waves. When you enter stage 3, the brain waves start to slow down, and that's called the delta state, which is interspersed with smaller, faster waves. So nothing is a perfect situation. There's always different things going on in the brain. It's a matter of learning and understanding how our brainwaves work and what affects our brainwaves to see how we can influence our own brainwaves. And then in stage 4, it produces more delta brainwaves exclusively, and that's referred to as the deep sleep state, or the delta state. And now, just looking at the at the chart of the brainwaves, you can see how the brainwaves start to slow down in the different stages. But you can see that every brainwave is erratic. It's not as obvious as one would think, because there's a lot of different parts of the brain that are having different frequencies and are doing different things. So it's a matter of understanding how it works and how we can slow down the brain waves and have influence over the predominance of where we can get the delta created. here it's when you're in a delta state, this is the hardest state for people to wake you up from, because you're close to being unconscious, I guess. It's probably the best way of putting it. And when you wake up, you normally feel very sleepy and disorientated, which I've said before. The reason why we've got to aim at the delta state is because it's been proven that it's the healthiest part of the sleep to restore. It's a restorative sleep. It helps rejuvenate our body. It drops the blood pressure. It reduces the breathing. The muscles become relaxed. The blood supply goes to. It allows the growth of the tissues and repairs and the reparation of our cells. It restores our energy. It changes the hormones in our body. It allows the growth hormone in children so that they can grow in a healthy manner. And there was a university experiment done where, with university students, we have to find the actual source material because I read everything, but I didn't bookmark it, unfortunately, so I have to look for it again. But the way it works is that they had a university experiment where they had university students that were sleeping, and they were measuring their brain waves, and anytime the brain waves started to go below theta into the delta, they would put alarm bells and noises into the room to force the students not to go into a deep state, just to keep in a lighter state into the theta. So in other words, to deny them delta sleep. I think it was after about 5 days of denial of delta, they started to find that serious problems were starting to occur that made them realize that if you deny someone delta for a long period of time, then very serious illnesses can occur, such as heart disease and cancer and a whole lot of other very serious problems. So it's absolutely vital that we do learn about delta and learn as much as we can to influence how we can get into a delta state. Now I have to drink some water. Right, so so a few years ago, I realized that I started to join the dots, because if the meditators are talking about a deep delta state or a transcendental state, and they show that the transcendental state, or to transcend, is to when you get into a delta state, and when the scientists are saying that the delta state is vital for rejuvenating your body and to have a decent night's sleep, then it was pretty obvious to me that that we're talking about the same thing, really, joining the dots. So we're close to 11 o'clock now. It's 10:53. What we didn't have is a slide to say, let's have a break. So if anybody would like, I think we should break for about 7 minutes and start again at 2 minutes past 11. Just so that you might want to get a cup of tea or have a drink or something else. So I'm going to leave it on this slide, and I'll see you in about 5 minutes' time. Okay? I'll just turn on the music a little bit. Okay, everybody, I'll just turn on my screen again. Where am I? Oh, here we are. Great. Right. Will everyone like to come back? We're just turning the volume down a little bit. Great. Just so that I know everyone's back, if you could just write in the chat box, you know, hello or something, just so that I know you're all back. We'll start. Okay, Vero's back. Brett's back. David's back. Jenny's back. Med just said to everybody, She will be sending the link to the video recorded course to all registered participants at a later date. Okay, thank you, Meg, for that. Okay, so the second half of every day, we're going to do a practice session. So we'll be working gradually on getting to aim more at focusing more on the delta state every day. But let's start off in a very simple way. Now, you can choose what to do here. You can turn off the video if you like and lie down on a sofa or on your bed and have your laptop or your device close by so that you can hear what we're saying. Or you can sit down in a comfortable lounge chair and close your eyes as we go through the program. The most important thing to start with is to be in a comfortable state. What I'm going to do now, I think, just so that I don't really want to get in the way of the lesson by having my face there, is I think if I aim the computer screen up so you just see the ceiling and just a bit of blur, that might be the best. Right, so the first thing is to have relaxing clothing on. Make sure that there's nothing tight on your body. So, in other words, take off a belt if there's anything there, or any jewelry that could be, anything that could possibly restrict your blood movement or your blood circulation. It's a good idea to either loosen it or ideally take it off, to have loose clothing on. So clothing's important. The next is to make sure that your body is supported. So if you're going to sit in a chair and do the exercise, you can either lie in a chair where your back and your neck and your head are supported. If you want to be more in a meditative situation, then where you're sitting more upright, then with your head not supported, then make sure that your posture is such that if you do relax your neck, that your head will fall forward, not backward. So if you're sitting up, then relax your neck and see where it's going to go. Is your head going to go forward, or is it going to go back? If it does go back, then it's not the best thing. It's actually not good for you at all. So you need to move your bottom in the base of the chair so that your back is a little bit slightly forward, leaning forward, so that when your head does relax, it goes forward. Now, anyone that's lying down, then make sure that you're lying in a situation where your back and your vertebrae and your body is in a relaxed, even state. Ideally with your legs up a little bit if possible, and with your head supported in a comfortable pillow that works well for you. Everybody usually has their own type of pillow and has their own way of resting, but make sure that you have got the comfort around you that you would to do this exercise. Anything to maximize the possibility of going into a deep sleep is important. Okay. Now, the light in the room is important as well. So I know that for some of you it might not be possible to turn off the lights or to close the blinds. I can see Jenny is starting to close the curtains, which is a good idea. The darker the room, the better. Light does have an effect on brainwaves. In fact, when I spoke to one scientist that measured EEG brainwaves, he was saying to me, you know, that alpha music is not necessary at all, because when you close your eyes, you naturally get into an alpha state. And he's right, of course. But sometimes you might not be able to close your eyes when you're studying, for example. but what comes through very clearly is that light and the color, because color, there are different frequencies. Light has different frequencies. Red is the lower part of the spectrum of frequencies, and purple and blue lights are much higher in the frequency spectrum, all in the light spectrum. And they all have different ways of affecting our body. A bit more tea, I think. So look after the light in the room. Make sure that you've got a comfortable. Now, also something that will allow you to have a deep sleep is to make sure that your body temperature is looked after. Now, as you meditate and as you sleep, your body temperature will drop. So if the room is cool, you might need a blanket to give you a little bit of comfort, as well as to look after your body temperature as your body temperature drops. Listen all around you for sounds as well. Are there any disturbing sounds in the room? I'm playing Silence of Peace Volume 1. Now, the interesting thing about Silence of Peace Volume 1, probably unlike any of the other albums that I've done, is that this piece of music can be played on different players without any synchronization. So, in other words, if you wanted to play your copy of Silence of Peace, or if you wanted to play the YouTube of this, I'll ask Meg now on the chat to put the YouTube link to this particular piece of music, which you can play. Even though you might be hearing my version, you can put yours on top of it, and both sound brilliantly well together, believe it or not. So Meg, would you be able to put on the chat the YouTube link to Silence of Peace? So listen in. I can see that Jenny's even prepared with a very good idea, which are the eye covers, to make sure that you reduce the amount of light that goes into your eyes, which is absolutely brilliant. It's very good. I'll just might message Meg because I. Right, Meg has just put the link to Silence of Peace on. So if you want a better quality sound, or you want it louder, then that's perfectly fine. Have a go at clicking that link and getting Silence of Peace on for yourself. What I found, and what would be interesting to share if you're still awake at the end of the session, is to let me know how things go. It's good to hear the positives always, and it's also very good to hear the negatives as well, because we're aiming over the next 5 days is to clear the blocks. So hearing any niggly stories or anything negative about why things didn't work for you or what was irritating you, even if my own music that I'm providing today is irritating you, then that would be very good to share and for me to learn, because I've composed 34 albums, and as I said before, we're not, the whole philosophy is an Eastern philosophy. It's not not the scientific idea where we're forcing anything on anybody. So if it irritates you, then it would be good to know more about that, and perhaps it could be another album that on the range that might be more suitable for you, and we'll work on that tomorrow. Okay, so now we should have looked after the quality of the air in the room, and it's nice to have a little bit of air movement, but not too much. It's good to have fresh air coming into the room. It's good to have the room dark, and also it's very good to have extraneous noises, either eliminated or reduced. And for example, if there's a tumble dryer next door, then it might be a good idea to turn it off, because it can vibrate the floor and the walls and can easily irritate you even on a subconscious level. It can affect you and your brainwaves. Okay, now let's start to relax and start to concentrate on our breathing. So let's close our eyes. We breathe in through our nose, hold, and then out through our mouth. So breathe in on the count of 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Breathe out through our mouth, 2, 3, 4. And let's just keep going up. Breathe in through our nose. Hold. And breathe out through our mouth. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out through our mouth. Just concentrate on our breathing. Focus our thoughts on our breathing. See the air coming into our nose and into our lungs. See the air circulating in our lungs. Feel the air leaving our lungs, expelling through our mouth and out. Now you may find that you have different thoughts. It's perfect natural to have thoughts. Most important thing is just allow the thoughts to come and go, and rather than chastising yourself, saying, oh, that's terrible, I've got a thought, it's better to say, oh, I've got a thought, isn't that interesting? Let's concentrate on our breathing. So let the thought go and put your mind back onto your breathing. Breathing in, hold, and letting go. It's natural to have thoughts, and when they do, just follow the same routine. I've got a thought. Oh, that's interesting. Let's focus on the breathing. Breathe in. Hold. And let go. Breathe in. Hold. And let go. Now we're going through relaxing our body from our toes to the top of our head. So as we breathe in, we wiggle our toes and breathe out. Breathe in, wiggle our toes and breathe out. Breathe in, wiggle our ankles left and right, up and down, side to side, and breathe out. Breathe in, wiggle our ankles and let go. Breathe out. Breathe in, moving our calves, the lower leg, left and right, just a little bit, just so that we can feel them tensing and then relaxing. Breathing out. Breathe in, tense our calves, and relax and release. Feeling our knees. Breathe in and relaxing. Move them a little bit as you breathe in and let them go when you breathe out. Now our thighs. Tense them up. Breathe in and relax and breathe out, releasing your thighs, the muscles in your thighs. Let's do it again. Breathe in. Tense the muscles in your thighs. Relax. Breathe out. Now the muscles in your buttocks. Tense them up as you breathe in. And relax and breathe out. Do that again. Breathe in. Tense your buttocks and relax. Breathe out. Now feel our rib cage as we breathe in. Hold and breathe out. Bending our muscles on the side of our rib cages. Relax. And again. Hold and relax. So breathe out. Let's move to our fingers. Scrunch your fingers up into a fist. And breathe in. And relax. And open up your hands into an open your fist up. Do it again. Breathe in. Tense your muscles in your fingers into a fist, and then relax and breathe out. Tense the muscles in our arms and breathe in. And relax and breathe out. Tensing the muscles in our arms, breathe in. And breathe out. Tense the muscles in our shoulders and breathe in. Hold and breathe out. And relax our shoulders. Tense our shoulders again. Breathe in. And breathe out. And relax our shoulders. Tense our neck muscles. Breathe in. And relax. And breathe out. Tensing our neck. Breathe in. Relax and breathe out. Grip our jaw or tense our jaw. Breathe in and relax. And release our jaw. Tense our jaw and breathe in and relax through our mouth. Tense our eyebrows and our forehead. Breathe in and breathe out through our mouths. Now just breathe normally, closing our eyes, and listen to the music. Now, if you drift off, you don't have to worry about waking up or participating in the rest of today's lesson. It's completely fine if your body is desperate for sleep. Let your body drift off into sleep. And join us again tomorrow on tomorrow's program for day 2. If you would prefer, you can turn off my program today and just let the alpha music that you've got on YouTube to continue and just have a peaceful sleep. And join us again tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Now, for those of you that are still awake, I still are thinking about things, and every time that you have a thought, say to yourself, oh, that's interesting, I've got a thought. Let me put my mind and attention back onto the music. Listen to the piano. Listen to each note. What note is going to come next? So every time you have a thought, don't chastise yourself. It's not wrong. It's completely normal, completely natural to have a thought. Just say, that's interesting. I've got a thought. I'll put my mind back onto the music now. Listen to every note. How one note goes into the other. How it reverberates. How it vibrates you and your body. Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for yes, I just realised my microphone was off. Everyone, if you'd like to wake up now, the ones that are still with us, please turn on your cameras and your microphones. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts or feelings of how they were, positive or negative. I'm quite happy to hear both sides of the story. Who'd like to go first? Heard a chin move there. Right, I've turned off the music on my side. I can see Vera's awake. Vera, would you like to share anything with us?
Yeah, I found it really, really relaxing. I really liked it.
That's good.
I didn't get to sleep, but that was too short for me. But
That's okay.
yeah, but it was really soothing.
Thank you. This is well, we talk about our homework, and that is what you can do is use what you've learnt today. I think on this screen I've got a link to the YouTube, but I will ask Meg to maybe put a live link in the chat to our YouTube channel. I would like everyone, if you would like to subscribe, we'd be very grateful. And you can choose a track from our YouTube channel. A lot of them go for 1 hour. So I would say that your homework is to pick and choose something on the channel that you find very relaxing, that could help you get to sleep. Okay. What I found when I was at a lot of the Mind, Body, Spirit festivals, we'd have little 3-minute samples of the music, and I would allow the guest to choose to move the tracks on if it wasn't the right track for them. So what I found was that if the music didn't suit you, then you'd probably be flicking on the track or moving it to a different album within 10 to 20 seconds. But if there was a piece of music that you did like, you wouldn't be jumping up and down with glee, shouting and clapping your hands, saying, "Wow, isn't this amazing music?" Because it's not really aimed to excite you; it's aimed to do the opposite. So what we found was when the music did work, they would be very surprised, maybe a little bit shocked, when they said, "Oh, the music stopped," because that means that the music went for the whole 3 minutes, and then there was a stop at the end of it to get to the second track, to the next track. Now, when that happens, it's probably because that piece of music is the right piece for you. So you can try and do the same with the YouTube channel. Just go through the tracks, and when the music isn't right for you, consciously you'll know that you'll want to move it on. But when the track does seem to work for you, you probably forget to flick the track because it's working in some way, shape or form. And then if once you go through them and find an album that does that for you, then perhaps you can experiment by using this one to go to sleep by. Now, remember the good sleep hygiene tips, and I think we'll go into more of that as the days goes on. The book again is very good because it's got a list of the of all there's lots of checklists of things that you should do in preparation for going to sleep, such as making sure you don't have coffee in the afternoon, for example, or it's good to exercise, but you don't do strenuous exercise just before you go to sleep, because it brings about lots of other different types of hormones in the body which aren't the right ones to actually induce you to go to sleep.
Ever feel afraid?
Oh, I heard somebody say something.
Sorry, I clicked a link and it started to talk to me. I was off. It was a link on your YouTube site.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That's all right. Anyone else would like to share anything with me? With the group?
Yeah, I'm happy to say how much I enjoyed listening to the swaying motion that I felt when I was listening to the music.
Oh, that's good. So, are you saying that your body was swaying to the music?
No. My feeling, it felt like perhaps being rocked in a boat. So I just became aware that it was a to and fro, very gentle swaying rhythm, and I think the tone of the notes as well.
Oh, well, that's good to hear that. And you could build on that, and others could could take that idea and work with it as well. What I learned in transcendental meditation is that we all have thoughts, and those thoughts can easily keep us awake. So to put our minds onto something else, such as what Jenny was saying about feeling that the music was swaying you in a way from side to side, it could be a nice way to move our mind divert our attention from the thought to something that is conducive to sleep. Okay. Probably one of the most important parts of the exercise is controlling our thoughts or managing our thoughts and diverting our thoughts into the music and to what I was taught as a mantra, basically. So anytime I was taught to when I recognized the thought, I was to go back and to keep chanting the mantra silently to myself. Now, for some people, they may not like to chant mantras for many different reasons. That could easily be replaced by just putting your mind back onto the notes and the music, because obviously the music is aimed to slow the brain waves down. Thank you very much, Jenny, for sharing that with us. Thank you. Anyone else would like to say anything? Share something with us?
Jonathan, I'm Brett, and I want to thank you very much for sharing the link to the music, because I found actually the music coming through Zoom was a bit discordant, because the Zoom seems to try and control the music. So the link worked really well to give another source of your the purer music, and that I found very relaxing and peaceful. And I wasn't near falling asleep, but I was really, really relaxed. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.
Well, that's good. Thank you very much, Brett, for that. I guess what we'll try and do technically tomorrow is either try and improve the sound quality that's coming from Zoom, or what we might do is turn off the music completely from Zoom, so you'll just hear my voice, and do what Brett has done today, which is, Brett, were you actually turning on, did you actually hear my voice over the YouTube?
No, I heard your voice through Zoom.
Yes.
And the music I tuned in through YouTube.
Okay, and did you hear my voice along with the YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, then that sounds like that could be a good idea. That maybe during the exercise, I will turn off the music from my side, because when Meg and I were testing that today,
Yes.
I'll just drink some water because I need to clear my throat. We weren't 100% satisfied with the quality, so we agree with you, Brett, that there's still some more technical things that we have to learn about getting better quality through Zoom. But until that happens, then the method of just going to the link that Meg has shown you works very well. So I'm happy about that. The thing is that the more blocks you can discover that are preventing you from sleep, and the more you know how to handle each block to eliminate them or to dissolve them, the better chance you've got of getting into a deeper sleep. That's what I found. And so even though we're focusing in on the techniques of getting into delta, as with the analogy with the racing car on the racetrack, we need to be looking at the blocks. So I'm interested for anyone to share now and also tomorrow morning, after you've had a good night's sleep tonight, all being well, to share with us the blocks, whatever they might be. It could be that you've got a problem that's on your mind, or it could be that you might have had an argument with somebody, or it could have been having too much orange juice at the wrong time, or a beer or whiskey or something, or it could have been a scary movie. You know, there's all sorts of bits and bobs that might have happened that would be good to share. You know, for example, let's see what the next slide is here. We're sharing now. That I composed 2 albums. One was called the Orange Grove Siesta album, and the other one was called Amber. Now, the Orange Grove Siesta album was actually designed for a women's magazine, a women's health magazine. And we found that women, a lot of times, can't get to sleep because they've got a busy mind. And they find that the Orange Grove Siesta album helps them a lot with getting into a deep sleep. We had a lady called Cynthia that couldn't sleep for 22 years without sleeping tablets. And that album actually put her to sleep without any tablets for 2 hours. It was an interesting story. The niece, her niece called Ruth, was living in London, and she invited her auntie Cynthia to afternoon tea in London. Unbeknownst to Cynthia, Ruth was playing the Orange Grove Siesta album. And Cynthia was saying, I feel something strange going on with my head. The muscles around my forehead are starting to relax. What did you put in the tea? Or what did you put in the cakes? And Ruth said, no, the cakes and the tea are perfectly normal. I didn't put anything in them. It's I've just put on some special music by this Australian composer. It's designed to help people with sleep, called the Orange Grove Siesta album. And Cynthia got quite annoyed at Ruth and said, listen here, young lady, don't play games with me. Give me the CD player, give me the CD. She finished the afternoon tea immediately and went off to the guest room, played the album, and within minutes she was asleep without any tablets for 2.5 hours, I think it was. And when she woke up, she took just half a tablet as opposed to 2.5 tablets. So for her, she reduced her medication. With other people, they have done away with their medication. There was an article in the Sunday Telegraph by a doctor in the Irish Republic, Dr. Fahey, that said that he prescribed my music over Prozac. So the funny thing is that most men, really dislike the Orange Grove Siesta album. They don't like it at all. They find that it's too busy and too chaotic. And they much prefer the Amber album, which is a lot more elongated and a lot more horizontal in structure. Whilst most women find the Amber album quite boring. They just don't like it at all. So I'm always interested to know when music does work for you, but I'm also fascinated to know when it doesn't work for you and to find out more about why it doesn't work. because it helps me with when it comes to composing another piece of music, or it also helps in terms of helping me find the right piece of music for yourself as well. Sometimes we'll go into it in the future in the course this week, that there are many hidden reasons why something might be preventing you from sleep, and it might not be that obvious. It might not be just something as simple as a drink or a noise in the house. It could be something that is more rooted in some emotional experiences or trauma. And again, we'll talk about that later. Meg has kindly given me the 1 minute wrap up, which is fair enough. We're finishing very shortly. So we talked about the blocks. We've got to look more at those blocks. I'd like for everyone to share it tomorrow, and that's the homework, to select some music from YouTube and to make some notes, and then to share with us tomorrow how you slept tonight, good or bad, and let's work on getting us closer to Delta as the week progresses. So until we see you all tomorrow, have a good sleep and share with the group.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
So,
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and have a good sleep, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.